Hey everyone, welcome to Tea Time. Thuy and Edith argue. I'm Thuy.
And I'm Edith. But you all know that.
She says her name like it's so weird. Like it's not her own name.
It is weird because I feel like we should say Thuy and E.
Okay.
So when I say Edith, it's like, what? E.
So when you say, hi, I'm E, like when you meet someone and you shake their hand?
I don't shake hands. And
Me
I
neither.
usually say, hi, I'm Penelope. That's my name.
Because you don't want people to know your real name.
Nah.
I don't shake hands either.
Give me an
I bow.
Yeah.
So what's up? How have you been?
Good. I started helping out my sister a lot. I'm making desserts and vegan desserts in my sister's place. It's just amazing. I can bake without baking.
I don't see you making anything for me.
True. That's true.
Thanks for sharing.
You have to come down. Like if we say her name here, maybe we can eat for free.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Good idea.
Right?
Good ploy.
It's actually pretty good down there. So I've been making. Yesterday I made a orange creamsicle cheesecake.
Oh.
And some toffee crisp bars.
Right.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it thoroughly.
That is interesting because I know that there's recipes out there like no bake recipes, which I've tried and I've made before. But as far as being on top of that vegan, that's difficult.
Vegan, organic, everything's organic. And we use like cashew nuts and buckwheat.
Right.
Yeah. To make those desserts. It's so good. Like she makes almond milk. So from the almond milk, like
Wow.
she strains it. And the pulp from the almond milk, I'll dehydrate and make flour. So I use that to make some of the cheesecakes and stuff.
But you can also just go out and buy almond milk.
It's not as good. It's not as fresh. You should see us squeezing these nuts. Squeezing the milk out of a nut.
I didn't even realize that you can milk almonds.
They don't have teats. You don't milk them like that. But yeah, it's really good. You need to come down and try it sometime.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have been to your sister's place before, and it is really good, the dishes that I've had.
Right.
And then
yeah.
as far as the beverages, my favorite is the beet.
True Blood.
The beet juice.
Beet, ginger, apple. Yeah.
It's really
lime.
good.
It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
It's all pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah. Got some new flavors, some new ideas. We've got this big jackfruit in, so we de-seeded the jackfruit, put out bits to sell. But with some of it, a new girl that's there, Rachel, she's made a jackfruit barbecue sauce.
Right.
So now they're putting that on some of the pizzas. Oh my gosh, it's phenomenal.
Right.
So good. It's got a little bit of kick to it. It's a little spicy. But yeah, and then I don't know if you know how a jackfruit comes.
I'm
the
Asian.
inside of a jackfruit.
I love jackfruit.
So you've obviously then got a whole jackfruit and de-seeded it and stuff. Well, you know the stringy veins?
Mm-hmm.
I put some of those in the dehydrator yesterday before I left just to see if we can crisp them up, put them in salads and stuff, like wontons or croutons. So I'll let you know how that goes.
Okay, yeah. The jackfruit, we're going off on a tangent now, but the jackfruit, when it's dehydrated, people use it, or not even dehydrated, but they use the fiber stuff. They make plant-based burgers or things to resemble the texture of meat.
Yeah.
And even as a snack, we have actual packaged jackfruit chips. So if you have a dehydrator, it's so yummy and crunchy and crispy. I love jackfruit.
Yeah, jackfruit's good. I mean, it tastes delicious.
Mm-hmm.
But once you've opened it and you start peeling it, there's a bit of a weird smell that comes off of it.
Right.
But it tastes so good.
Right.
It's so good. Yeah.
So have you been to any concerts lately? Because I know that normally you like to tell me on the weekends you've just gotten back from some kind of country concert or some kind of event.
I haven't been to any lately. The last one I went to was The Boys on Your Shirt. That was the last concert I went to.
That was so much fun.
It was fun. The first concert I ever went to, the best concert I think I've ever been to was back in England. We went to see a group called M People.
Oh, the M People.
M People. You know M People?
They have the hit, is it Moving On Up?
Yep.
Moving on out.
Yeah, Heather Smalls. Yeah.
Nothing can stop me.
Yep. You know it. That was one of my favourite concerts. Went there with my girlfriends back in England, Amanda and Sarah. I believe I went with a boy named Paul. Yeah. He got, what do you call it, prickly heat after that concert. Like, he was so sore, like, practically crying and itching, and he got prickly heat. It was so hot, but it were one of the best concerts. Gabrielle opened up for her. Remember Gabrielle with the eye patch? The
Maybe.
one-eye girl? Yeah. Can't remember what she sang, but she opened up. I remember that Gabrielle opened up for M People. But that was a wicked concert.
Why was it so awesome or so whatever? Like, how old were you?
Well, it were outdoors. I were about 17. We're about 17, yeah. And it were all outside. Weather were just perfect. And
right.
There were thousands of people there in this field. And we were right up front. We had the perfect spot. Dancing. Oh,
right.
It was so much fun.
So were there actual seats?
Concert, no, it was just in a field.
Right.
Yeah. I think it might have been Round Day Park where we went. Oh, it was amazing. But that was the first concert I ever went to. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Are you surprised that I knew the M People?
I am pretty surprised that you knew them.
Why? I love music.
Yeah. Did I introduce you to them?
No, I didn't know you back then.
I think I might have done. I don't think you knew them back then. I think it's been since I moved here that you've known them, because I still play their music to this day.
Look, if you were 17, 18 years old, that means like I was
2.
Yes, you're that much older than I am. So I was probably in high school as well, and I was into what was considered like retro for high school, for then. So if at the time everyone else was listening to like maybe like Pearl Jam or like these other grunge and poppy, maybe like
Smashing
boy bands and
Pumpkins.
stuff. Yeah, I mean, I like that too. But on top of liking that, I also liked a lot of like retro sounds. Like I like Delight that came out, and M People had a very disco sound.
Right.
And that was, for me, like I was listening to the Casey and Sunshine Band, and no one else in my high school was listening to that.
Right.
They were just like, you're weird, or why are you listening to like older stuff? But I like that stuff.
Yeah,
I still
that
do.
stuff is good. I play
Yeah.
70s and 80s, 60s, 70s all the time.
So the M People were very reminiscent of like disco
Yeah.
and their dance music. So so I listened to it.
Yeah.
Did Mumsy know that you went to that concert?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was allowed.
I didn't know if you snuck out to
No.
go with this boy.
No, I was 17. I didn't have to sneak around. I never snuck
You're still-
around. I tell my mum everything, where I were going, what I were doing. Even when I were going over at Quarry and drinking Mad Dog 2020.
And that's why she would beat your ass. Just because you told her doesn't mean she allowed it and that she liked it.
She never caught me. She never could catch me. I'd tell her and then run.
Mumsy, I hope you're watching this right now and
Sorry,
you're writing
Mom.
it down.
Sorry.
Make a list, Mumsy, for the next time you run into Edith again. Whack.
Yeah. What about you? What's your favourite concert that you've ever been to?
I have a lot of good ones, and I'd have to say like some of them are favorites for different reasons, but just like overall, it's so hard to pinpoint, right? But overall, it was a fairly recent one, being 7 years ago. 7 years ago? Yeah, I'm trying to do math in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So 2017, I grew up always being a huge fan of U2. I like U2 a lot. And, going up in the 80s, 90s, they always evolved. They always had different albums, and their sound, like I like that about them. They always tried doing different sounds, and their songs sounded different, like they were evolving. It wasn't just the same old, like they weren't like stuck in the 80s or stuck in the 70s, So back then, when they were on tour, the Joshua Tree came out, 1987, and then 88 was Rattle and Hum. I know all this stuff because I know music. I was in like middle school. I couldn't go to those concerts, and I didn't have parents who liked that kind of thing to tag along with me.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay, missed out on all that. And then in the 90s, when they had like Octung Baby and they had Zooropa, I'm in high school. I don't have money to go to that type of concert as well. I wish I did, right? So it was always like a thing on my bucket list that like, okay, the next time U2 is even anywhere remotely near me, I don't care if it costs like $500, I'm going to go. Like, I don't care. And even if it's like nosebleed, right? So when it was 2017 and they were coming to Raymond James Stadium, which was their second concert there, and, you know, it's been, they haven't been back since. Oh my gosh, I heard that U2 was going to be there, and I was like one of the first ones probably to purchase. So it was me and actually our friend Bronwyn. It was around the time of her birthday. So I got it as like a birthday present for her. Oh my gosh, she's as big of a fan. We were like singing along to like every single song, and it was outdoors. Raymond James is outdoors. That's where the Bucks play. It was almost, I think, just under 51,000 people in attendance.
Wow. And
we were to like the left of the stage, maybe like 3 tiers up, which sounds like it's like really far, but it didn't seem like it was that far. I mean, he was like right there on the stage. And they were just running through like their whole album, and I'd be like, Where the Streets Have No Name is next. Or I'd be like, With or Without You is next. Because I knew I knew their album, and they were just going right in order. So I'm like, it was just so blissful, you know? And then like the lights and then the sunset, and you could see it off in the distance, and being outdoors and beautiful weather. It was a June night. Oh my gosh. So because of those things, and because it's almost been like a lifetime kind of like in waiting. Yeah. So that was like very high up there. Yeah.
Good. We went to see Elton John at Raymond James.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was a good concert. Like, and that was just a few years ago. So, you know, he's older.
Okay.
He wasn't like jumping on his piano anymore like he did back in the day. In fact, he had a little bit of difficulty walking. So like the whole stage, his whole piano, like he'd just sit at the piano, and the piano, the whole thing, the whole floor would move over to the other side of the stage. So that's how he did his walking about. He did get up a couple of times, but he wasn't the best on his feet. But that was a kick-ass concert.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
What was the opener, or do you remember who else like maybe joined him?
There wasn't one, just him. Yeah. Just like also at Raymond James, Taylor Swift. I went to see Taylor Swift at Raymond James. Tony got those tickets for us. And you know what? It was amazing. Because I like dancing. She had a lot of dancers there, and the dancers were phenomenal. Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, that was a good concert also. I enjoyed thoroughly.
That's a little bit surprising for me.
That I went to see Taylor Swift.
Yeah, like that's something like maybe I would do, but for you.
Me and Tony.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was full with little teens all in the cowboy hats and short shorts and the boots and dressing up as Taylor Swift.
Wow.
A lot of youngsters there. But it was a really good concert. Tony and I were probably the oldest people there, but it was really good. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't hold back either. So you're saying like backup dancers, but I'm sure she was giving it her all.
Yeah. Yeah, she was a sweaty mess at the end of it. Her hair were all stuck to her face, and she was a sweaty hot mess.
Was she funny?
She did a little bit of chatting, and when she got a guitar out, and she talked to audience for a little bit, and all kids were around us screaming, and yeah, she was a really good entertainer. It was a good concert.
How close were you?
We were like in the second tier. We were
okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Should I dare ask like how much tickets were?
You can ask, but I don't know because Tony bought them, so I don't know.
Man,
he's good like that.
If you didn't know this about Edith before, a lot of people are surprised to know she loves country.
It's so good. But I don't know why everybody don't like it. I'm telling you, if you listen to country, you will fall in love with it. You really will. It's just so good. There's so many good artists that sing country. Zac Brown being the best. Seen him so many times at the amphitheater. And we're always in the pit, so we're right up there. We get there early, stand right up front of the stage. His sweat is dripping onto me. I love it.
Gross.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
That's gross. I'd want my money back if that happened.
That's because you don't sweat.
Ugh.
But if you're dancing in this Florida heat, you're going to sweat a little. It all merges. It's all good.
Side note for all of you out there, Edith and I have boxed together before. We go to the same gym, and she is just a sweaty mess. It's so disgusting.
Is it?
It looks like
is it healthy?
It looks like she just took a shower.
It's healthy to sweat.
It's so gross. And then sometimes our coach would pair us up together, and we'd have to do like these mitt exercises and stuff. And you have to kind of like punch, it's like a soft little like jab on the side, or you just have to duck as you're doing these exercises. And as she's swinging past me, her sweat goes flying, and it's so gross. I'm so grossed out.
That's why I always connected with you, because you always closed your eyes and try to dodge the sweat. You're supposed to dodge a punch, not the sweat. It's tactical.
It's so disgusting. And then before, I've had to punch her in the side before too, and you just hear the squish because her tank top is drenched in her sweat. Like she just went through a car wash.
It's healthy to sweat.
So gross.
It's so healthy.
I don't sweat.
You're weird. Yeah, you're weird. You should sweat. Oh, you're not working hard enough. Simple as that. Just don't work out hard enough to not break a sweat in the boxing gym.
I don't sweat even when I do my Spartan races.
Because you walk. You walk around the course.
Then let's do one with me. Come on.
Are you going to walk? I'll walk. I'll walk with you.
Let's go.
All right. Next time.
Another one of my favorite concerts, besides for you two, because I go to a lot of concerts as well, different genres of music. Mm-hmm. I heard about Michael Bublé back when he was coming up with, he had like a few albums before with like cover, I want to say, like how you do your standards, right? Yeah. Your big ballads and your standards that like Frank Sinatra sings or Mel Torme, and he did those covers. Mm-hmm. And he had sort of like his own album that kind of came out in 2004, 2005, and it's called It's Time. And I was in Seattle at a coffee shop when I heard his version of Feeling Good. And right away I was like, oh,
what is this?
Yeah, this is a great version. And I normally don't like remakes, but also just like his voice, like the tone of his voice, like the warmth of it. So I don't know what I did. Maybe I asked the person behind the counter who this was, or because we didn't have iPhones then to do the whole sound hound or when mm-hmm. you ID the sound or you ID the song. So I found out that it's some guy named Michael Bublé, and of course, like his album is right here. You want to buy it. And I think I bought it like right away, and I listened to the whole thing start to finish. Loved it. Mm-hmm. When I found out that he was on tour and he was going to be at what was then called the Tampa Bay Performing Arts Center, I think tickets were only like maybe $25 to see him.
Wow.
And I was row T. I was literally, like 20 rows away. Like I felt like I could just like
touch him.
Yeah. And he's like right there. And his opening act was actually a Canadian comedian because he's from Canada. And I thought that was kind of interesting to choose a comedian as your opening act instead of
a singer,
another jazzy person or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
So, oh my gosh, there was like a couple songs where he basically, it's probably part of the whole act, but he tells the guys, oh, go backstage, go take a break. And then he just sits there on a stool with the mic, mm-hmm. right? And he sings a song. But then he kind of says, oh, you know what? I don't think I need this. And he puts it down. And his voice, he just like fills the hall. And it's just like, you feel like it's just this this concert, just you and him. Because he's just like, you're just like enamored with his voice, mm-hmm. So that was a great concert. And yeah. I have this kind of like this pride where I'm like, oh, I saw him before. He was really big. I saw him before tickets were like $400 or whatever. So
that's awesome.
That was one of my favorite concerts as well.
Yeah,
I have several favorites. It's really hard.
I know. I mean, music's music. You love music, so every time you go to a concert, like every time I go to a concert, I'm going to enjoy it, no matter who or where.
Even if you didn't know, Edith did not know who the New Kids on the Block were.
I did know who they were. I just weren't interested in them. That was not my band when I was growing up. I would not buy their music, or I mean, you'd hear it because it'd be on the radio. Certain ones would be on the radio, so their big hits, they'd be out in England, you know.
Okay.
So, but yeah, when you asked if I wanted to go, and I'm like, yeah, Paul Revere, and I'm thinking it's the Beastie Boys for some reason. I don't even know why. But when I said yes, I'm like, Beastie Boys, here we come. And then I realized, no, New Kids on the Block are not the Beastie Boys. But I did enjoy it.
It was
Apart
fun.
from the rain, it rained, so that was a bit of a dampener.
Right.
But it was fun. I enjoyed it.
It was fun.
It was a good concert.
New Kids on the Block 2024 Summer Magic Tour, or Magic Summer Tour. That's what it was.
Magic Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still danced. They still had the moves.
And they had the washboards too, because they showed them off a few times. And what's his name? The actor one?
Donnie
Wahlberg, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He wiggled his ass a few times, turned around and showed us his butt cheeks.
They're going to ham it up, of course.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun show.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the opener was Paula Abdul, by the way.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see her.
The opener was DJ Jazzy Jeff.
And Paula.
And Paula.
Right.
She talked a lot. She should have done more singing, more dancing. She talked a lot.
She had to explain her dance.
She talked a lot. Even one of the songs, she was pretty much just talking through it. Okay, I think that might have been the song, I don't know, but she was just talking through, like they were auditioning for a dance, and she was just talking them through it. Okay, we're going to do this. And they did repeat the moves over and over. Okay, we're going to do it one more time. Left, right, up, down.
She's 62 years old. Come on, cut her a break.
That goes off to her then. Yeah, she did well.
She's probably tired.
No, it was a fun concert.
Right.
It was a fun one.
It's a concert that is fun for many different reasons. Some of the reasons I cannot name on camera.
Okay.
But Lady Gaga was a fun concert because I went with Bill and Marcella, and it was in Ybor. And again, it was
Lady Gaga?
Yeah, it was another one where I pride myself in that we saw her when it was like $20 a ticket. It was like January of whatever year that she became big, and it was $20 a ticket. And again, it was you could just reach out and touch her because she was just playing on piano right there on the stage, or sometimes when it was the dancing numbers and she would be dancing around on the stage, parading around in high heels and outrageous outfits, of course. And we were just like dancing along too because there's no seats. It's just standing room. And one of the reasons why it's fun was also sort of like the before and the after, right? Because our trip there was an adventure. Yeah. The stuff that happened afterwards was all part of the night. So it was fun for many different reasons. But when we went to go see her, let's say it was like a Tuesday or whatever, then like that Friday when they released the American Idol episode where she performed on it, that was when she got big after that American Idol episode. So she had recorded that probably months prior, before it actually finally aired. So meanwhile, she's just going around doing her thing, trying to go on tour and get her music out there. So after that week, she exploded. So we were kind of like, wow, we saw her when it was only $20 to go see her. But besides for that was a fun concert for many different reasons. Like I don't even have like enough digits on my hand.
That must have been awesome, Lady Gaga. I would really love to go see her,
especially because you like dancing and stuff like that. She only had her one album then because obviously she was brand new. But I think that if you haven't heard of them yet, you should probably look into them, and all of you out there too. But have you ever heard of Pink Martini?
Nope.
Pink Martini, they're based out of the Oregon area. They are so eclectic and just so worldly. Like, you know how sometimes Dave Matthews has that kind of like sound you're not like used to. It's a little bit unusual, but it's so unique and it's so cool. Pink Martini does covers of a lot of international songs. It's not just they're restricted to the US. They are covering songs from Turkey, folk songs from like Italy, from Greece, but also their own songs too. They've made their own and produced their own songs and albums. And Pink Martini, if any of you don't know or have never heard of them, please look them up. They're on tour right now, but I think they're over in Europe. It's so cool. It's so cool of a sound. They have a little bit of everything. It's like slow music, but it's like salsa, and it's like they have singers that come from all over. Like maybe someone's from like Argentina. I was going to say Argentinian. Someone else is from Japan. They have a backup singer guy who's from Japan, so they'll do like Japanese songs. But it's so cool. It's hard to explain. So when you go to one of their albums or one of their concerts, you feel like you've kind of even traveled like the world, you know? And they actually encourage and invite. This is also unusual. I saw them at the Mahaffey in St. Pete. Mm-hmm. There's certain songs where they actually will encourage people to get out of their seats, start dancing, and then for a couple of songs, like before they go on like intermission and stuff, they tell the people to come up on the stage and dance on the stage with them.
Oh, sweet.
So they move all the stuff and people stand behind them, and you can record yourself standing right there next to them, and they're singing and they're playing their instruments, but they're like posing for you on their camera, you know, for your cameras.
So cool.
It's so neat. They really want to get people involved. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I've been to them twice, and I'll continue to keep going to their concerts whenever they're around.
That's an experience.
Yeah. So they're like one of my favorite concerts too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to hear from the people to see like what kind of music that our audience listens to. Please share with us your experiences, your favorite concerts of all time. Where were you when you saw your favorite musicians or your favorite bands?
Sure.
I guess like one last one before kind of like concluding or wrapping up. I've got the pleasure to go to a Jimmy Buffett concert before he passed away.
Me too.
And that was a fun experience just because of the culture, right?
Yeah. Jimmy Buffett, that were a great concert too. That were in Philadelphia. I saw Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville. Nice. It were outdoors. It was torrential rain.
Oh.
We did the tailgating in the parking lot, and in that parking lot there were just so many people doing so many stuff. Like they had balloons with, I don't even know what people were sucking out of these balloons. There was spliffs all over the place, like joints everywhere. There were even joints on the stage. Obviously, he was throwing joints out to the audience when he were playing.
Oh my gosh!
Oh man, it were phenomenal. But there were a torrential rainstorm from the parking lot to the stadium. So I mean, we were absolutely sodden wet through. But it didn't spoil it, not one iota.
Right.
It was still a great concert.
Right.
We had fun.
I've heard that some people were complaining that because they'll take their kids to Jimmy Buffett's concerts and it's not like family friendly. And especially the song like Let's Get Drunk and Screw. Mm-hmm. So he's had to change lyrics.
Why? I mean,
I know.
You know what you're going to see. You know who Jimmy Buffett is.
I know.
Why would you take your kid so you can complain? That's what people do. They just like to complain and moan and whine and bitch and try and get the money back after enjoying a concert. It's annoying.
Why don't you tell us what you think, Edith?
Just saying.
Well, why don't you let the people know where they can leave their positive comments, because you're sick of complaints, right? So
you can leave your positive or negative comments. The negative ones we will not read. We will just delete. Or we'll give you a nice, friendly response. Just leave something for us to feast our eyes upon.
Would you like to tell them where they can find us, Edith?
You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, any major listening platforms will work.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
She does such a good job at listing them. That's why I always ask her to list them.
No. Yeah, she just laughs at me. She's rude. But thank you for joining us once again. We appreciate you.
Hope you tune in next time.
If you had fun listening today, please make sure you like and subscribe to our channel.